Hey there, comic fam, welcome back to Climbing Comics. In today's sesh, we'll be doing our next installment of comic grading using my Sandman number 1 and asking the question, are we 9.8 or bust? Hey there again, comic fam, welcome back to Climbing Comics. As part of my series, I will be doing my close to last installment of Climbing Comics grading. Before we start, if you end up liking this video, don't forget to click that thumbs up button, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified of when I come out with new content. I've been doing this series for quite a bit of time now. We've gone over a lot of different books, ranging from my Green Lantern 55, which came out at a 2.0, my Amazing Spider-Man number 33, which came out at a 4.5, Doctor Strange number 169, which came out at a 6.0, X-Men number 129, which came out at an 8.5, and most recently my Demon number 1, which I may have overgraded, but I called it a 9.4. Let's say it's a 9294. 9094. This will be my next installment. I wanted to kind of go over a range and build out this library of different books. I think it's very important to take a look at books and ask a question whether what's your threshold or limit. When I got back into comics about 2 years ago, I remember seeing a lot of stuff online where people had said if you're going for a modern book, it's essentially a 9.8 or bust. But as time went by, I realized that that's just that one person's opinion. I saw people who collected just Raw. I saw people that collected, certain types of books only at certain grades. Someone who was trying to collect just 5.0s. It was a very, very cool way to realize that everyone kind of has their own way of collecting. What I've come to realize is we have to adjust to the way the market is going right now. A lot of books over this past, I would even say 4 or 5 months, have skyrocketed in price from 2 to 3 times how much they sold at Q4 of last year. One of these books I came to look at was Sandman, right? So I was looking at prices that were 9.8 and everything below. And I was coming to realize, hey, do I want to pay premium for a slabbed 9.8? Or should I take a risk on a possibly high grade raw book? And what I did is last year I bought this book raw, and with the hopes that it would be in the higher range of grading. Let's take a look at this book together to see how well I fared. Today we'll be looking at the Sandman #1 by Neil Gaiman. We'll also be using this Overstreet price guide to grading comics, and just like last time, we'll be using this suggested number of allowable defects per grade. This cheat sheet is right here, showing the amount of defects that's allowed in the book. First off, I wanted to make sure I'm very careful with this book. I know this is a fairly high grade book, so I will use the light here to see and check if there's any creases in the front. I did not see any. Let us look now at the back. There does not seem to be any there. In the front, let me look for any major color breaking spine ticks. I'm not sure if that's a spine tick or one of a printing defect. Because of this crease, you kind of see this white, but I would not count against that. I see no spine ticks here. I see just this abraded corner. Very, very sharp bottom. Corner looks good here. Sharp all the way around. Looking at the back, no spine ticks thus far. You could see the abraded corner from the back. It's that one corner. Everything looks to be very tight. Staple quality is very good. No rust. Looking at the inside, no rust at all for the top and bottom. Again, I like to use the back side of the front cover as an indicator to see if there's anything up front. Nothing there. Everything looks very clean. And I will do the same thing with the back. Looks very clean. Page quality, I would say, is white, and there is no cutouts. So I would call this book, because of this one spine tick, looking at the guide to grading comics, I would kind of, just to be safe, I would give this a 9.6 because that was a fairly obvious one. So let's look at the 9.6. I normally start at a 5.0, very good, fine. But since this looks to be a fairly high grade book, I wanted to jump straight to the 9.6. Looking at all of the issues here, it looks like we have not deviated from anything here. So everything is okay. I would call this a 9.6 just to be safe. So in your view, where do you see this book? Do you have it any higher or lower? Please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you. With this information, like before, I wanted to go online to take a look at a couple different resources. So first, I'm taking a look at Go Collect just to take a look at what prices would be like at a 9.8 versus a 9.6 to see if it makes sense to soften up on solely going for 9.8s. So here in Go Collect, it looks like a 9.8 FMV value is $975, while 9.6 is $350. Just going deeper into what 9.8's recent sales go by, you have some steep prices at $1,300 and over $1,000, while most recent sales for a 9.6 are less than half that price, from $440 to $518 to $430. Let's take a look at my comic shop just to do a little bit of triangulation of these books. It does look like a 9.8 CGC is around that $1,300 range. Some of these are even selling for much higher, much higher. But then you see a huge drop for a very fine 8.0 at a $250. I think having a 9.6 as opposed to a 9.8 is a very, very fair thing to look for. Mainly because with that delta between the two prices, there are so many other books that you can get. Outside of this, I wanted to take a look at the CGC census. For those that have not done this before, CGC, any book that they come in with, you see a slab will always have a barcode. That barcode gets put into their database, so they track all of the numbers. So you see under the near mint 9.8s, under Universal, they have about 837 books out there, while 9.6s, they have 953. I'm not looking for any sort of correlation here. I just wanted to take a look at the total amount of books that are in that high range. So you see there are a lot of books out in the population. In terms of this, they might not be selling on eBay right now because people may be waiting to see the height of this book. But I think it's cool to see that there are a lot of books out there. And I think not necessarily just going for the 9.8 right now. Maybe if I wanted a 9.8, I could wait, or I could go for a lower grade right now. If you guys have any other resources that you take a look at, please let me know. I've softened a little bit to being strict on mainly trying to get 9.8s for modern books. I think it presents beautifully. It's a great book. It's the story. It's the book that makes this worth it. I've read this book, and I most recently bought the audiobook from the Sandman universe. It has a lot of cool voice actors, and as you kind of listen to that, you could page through the book like electronically, and it's like if you were a kid and someone telling you a story, but with really cool actors. I'm super glad I got this book. I'm glad I got it raw. I think this is a book that has a really good storyline, and I'm really excited to read more about it. So I know it's all opinion, but for me, I've softened up quite a bit. A lot of books that I've really wanted, I've decided that I don't always have to get like the super high grades. If the book is good, I really like it, and now that we've learned so much about grading raw books, if there's a good opportunity to get a raw book at a very fair price, I will take the risk and go do that, because I'm starting to trust and gain the skills that I feel confident in making an assessment of a raw book. So please tell me your opinion. Are you strict on yourself on certain grades for modern books, and are you a little bit softer only on Silver Age books and older? Or have you softened up because the market has gone so crazy? Please let me know in the comments section below. And how I always like to say, from my comic journey to yours, make it your own. Thanks all. Bye.